With magic and sorcery, the zebras called forth the fallen star and bade it rise. Return to the heavens. Thousands were offered in sacrifice, their screams rising up until the heavens could no longer bear them, and one star plunged down to silence it forever. Like a great flame it fell and shattered the zebra city, and the broken mountains shuddered and collapsed to bury all beneath their rubble. But the dark heart was still not destroyed. It caught the falling star and consumed the luminescent being within. Only two specks escaped, one rising to the sun, the other to the moon. Time passed and the buried star waited. Greenery returned. Zebras shunned the valley, calling it cursed, and did not tempt the stars to fall again. Clouds obscured the sun and moon, so they could not see its resting place. But soon new creatures came to the valley. Ponies. The star once more whispered and tempted, ensnaring the heart of a beautiful princess and turning her sister against her. But the sister wisely banished her from the earth, and to the moon, where the glowing light could leach out her poison and venom till a chance at redemption was possible. Time, though, was forever on the side of something older than the moon itself. And when foolishness and wickedness stirred in the hearts of pony and zebra alike, that thing hummed its hateful note once more. Ponies built their machines and weapons and spells and slew one another in bloody combat. The song was lost to a scream of hate and pain. This time, however, as ponies and zebras died, not all their tiny motes returned above. Many, a small fraction, but still so many, were snared in the spider's web and whisked to a dark heart. There the scream, the dark note. Waiting, tempting another star to fall, to be devoured, so that the heart could be freed. And now I looked down at my dim world with a sense of horror and sadness. Was this true? A war between stars and monstrous things from beyond? A fallen star humming madness in the ears of ponies of Equestria? I wondered if I was crazy. I hoped that I was. That was all, just my brain making its last feeble attempt connection before finally expiring. This couldn't be true. It just couldn't. It was too big, too much, even for me, and the glowing ponies around me agreed in their song. But that was the point. Of course, it was too big for one pony, for one anything. That was why the single star, with its single note, had failed. Not even those glowing stars could keep back the darkness alone. It was when they worked together, combining their songs and changing, growing, that they could drive that vast and terrible darkness back. Harmony, not power, was their strength. Life, not destruction, was how they won. So why didn't they help us? Here, their song changed. Why help a world so close to complete failure? How could they spare more luminaries when even the last one was needed? Some calmly, perhaps callously, suggested that we clean up the mess ourselves. The help of others would be of little use. What good would it do ponies to be transformed into sprites of singing gelatin? But most stars simply had concerns of their own, and those that could help were helping as best they could. But it wasn't enough. The dead heart of that star continued to hunger for the souls of its own, and its own dread note was beginning to build. It was intolerable, and with each light that spiderweb captured from my world, its song grew. I had to go back. I couldn't be here while Glory, P21, all of them were there. Make me a ghoul, a ghost, a monster pony, anything. I couldn't sing with the others and leave them down there. I had to do something. Anything. Whatever it took. They mattered more than me. And the stars' song turned mournful. No parent wanted to lose their child. But I wasn't a child anymore. I turned to see that glowing lavender unicorn with a striped purple and red mane, and she smiled. Security saves ponies, she seemed to say. Then she leaned down and kissed my brow, and her light became gentle and became my world. Welcome back, Blackjack, a mare said quietly. I blinked rapidly, and the white resolved into 4 gray walls. Stable walls. 2 rows of desks, with a projector in the middle and the teacher's desk in the corner. Only Textbook hadn't ever smiled. Well, except when she was a psychopath trying to kill me. I was the same age as Scotch. I looked around, feeling disoriented. Hadn't I just been floating or something? I had a vague recollection of lights, and before that being on a ship. No, dying on a ship. Oh, crap, I muttered. I've died and gone to hell. Textbook laughed. Well, you're half right. You most certainly did die. Complete cardiac and respiratory failure for almost 8 hours. Fortunately, your Pegasus and Reaper friends are resourceful. Since Rampage is efficient at immortality, Glory was able to shunt her circulatory system into yours, keeping your brain and body alive long enough to reach your destination. Considering how Rampage healed, that couldn't have been pretty. So, are you Dr. Octopus or something? I asked with a little frown. 'Cause you're using a lot of really big words that make my head hurt. You don't remember us coming aboard? She asked with a small smile, then sighed. Well, that's no surprise, considering the state you were in. We kept quiet for most of the trip. We didn't want to risk you guessing our plan and stressing yourself with objections. No offense, but you're remarkably stubborn at times. Her form shimmered and became an aging gray and white mare with a curious striped mane and legs. One that I'd seen teaching at a university before Goldenblood had recruited her. Silver stripe? I blinked. Nice to meet you, brain to brain, she said as she looked around. Is this really what you think of when you think of school? I was hoping for some nice lecture halls. She sighed again and nudged the projector. Well, the concept's what's important, not the aesthetics. This is taking place in my head. Well, unless I'd inexplicably reverted back to a filly, which actually I'd seen before. If you're here, then Steel Pony? She nodded and the projector lit up. Project Steel Pony. An outline of a mare with 3 cogs in the center appeared. One of the OIA's project to build a better pony. We're using it to save your life. I stood on my chair, pointing a hoof at her. You're not turning me into Deus. She rolled her eyes. And this is why we didn't tell you before, Hoof. Clicking her tongue, she shook her head. Sorry, but it's all done. We were just waiting to see if your consciousness emerged or if your brain had suffered too much damage. The picture on the screen changed to a frowning Stabletech pony icon, with several organs displayed. She pointed a hoof at the projection. Heart, both lungs, stomach, and some other organs were all irrevocably contaminated and had to be replaced with synthetics. The bad blackened organs disappeared, and new shiny silver ones reappeared. Your stomach and digestive tract were also removed and replaced with a special processor developed by your friend Rover. Your mouth has also been altered, so you can now eat not only regular foods, but also gemstones and pieces of scrap metal. According to your friends, this won't be a big dietary change for you. Wait, I can eat metal and gems? I asked, blinking in shock. This was too much, too fast. Can and have to. Your systems are powered by an internal micro-generator. We were able to, very luckily, find an appropriate gem to run it. But to supplement that and repair damage, you'll need to ingest gemstones and scrap metal occasionally. On the upside, though, you'll never get tired again. The stomach on the picture disappeared and was replaced with a tiny generator picture, like what you see in the medical center dream. Though you will still need to sleep occasionally to let your brain rest, there's a function in the Pip-Buck interface to let you know how badly you need it. You'll be glad to know you'll be seeing your friends very soon. You've got 2 full ocular implants. They should look relatively similar to your old eyes, barring a slight glow effect when you look right at some pony. Well, and the lack of glow from the irradiation. You're a rather unusual patient. She tapped the screen and 2 eyeballs appeared. You also had some brain damage. While we were able to remove the taint causing it, the damage itself was beyond our ability to repair. However, as far as we can tell, all the damage is benign, which I'd probably not believe if I hadn't seen the diagnosis myself. Of course, we won't know for sure until you're awake. Why am I not awake now? And am I going to have pistons and things sticking out of me? I asked in a rush. I remembered that sensation Deus felt every minute of his life, that feeling of machinery struggling with flesh. I fought to calm down. If this was what they had to do to save me, then... Wait. There had been something Zodiac had said days back. No. I looked at Silver Stripe in shock, and she blinked, then smiled and shrugged. You should be okay. We neutralized the remaining taint, and no, while Rampage suggested something along the lines of Deus or Rover, Glory thought you'd prefer something less blatantly mechanical. The legs appeared on the projection. All 4 limbs are reconnaissance grade, light and agile, with rubber soles to cut down on sound. You can still crack skulls with them, but not tanks. She sighed. Though why Rover insisted on adding... Professor, you said... The professor didn't look at me, keeping her eyes on the projection. Now, while your limbs may be powered, you'll still need to take care of your own flesh and blood. Most of your other biological systems are still intact and functional, and we were able to make a few improvements there, too. So long as you survive and aren't in truly ridiculous levels of enervation, your biological parts should regenerate slowly. Nothing like Rampage's regeneration, mind you, but you said it would take years to make cybernetic organs from Steel Pony, I said, as I jumped off the desk. Oddly, I felt myself transform into my adult self as I trod in front of her. Did you lie to me about that? I asked as I stared into her gray eyes. I saw the tired sadness within them. Please, tell me you lied to me.